It's 9:02 a.m. and I would like to call to order the meeting of the Transportation Committee of October 26, 2023. Before we begin, please note this meeting is recorded. Welcome back to the first meeting of this boardroom and welcome to those listening on the phone. If you would like to provide public comment at today's meeting, and if you have not done so already, please let Thomas in the back of the room or Justine on the call-in line know what items you would like to speak on today. Madam Secretary, please begin by calling the roll.
Thank you. Good morning and welcome, everybody. It's nice to see everybody around the table. This is the old dig, so we're also testing technology right now again and trying to make sure that the public can hear us. So if we have to stop at any point because we lose connection, I'll let you know. But so far, so good. I'm going to start today's roll call with Director Hernandez, Director Moulton-Peters, absent. Director Rabbit, absent. Director Rodoni.
Here.
Director Snyder is absent. Director Thier. Here. Vice Chair Maston. Chair Hill. And President Theriault. Thank you. You have a quorum and you are now committee of the whole with Director Giudice walking in. So we also have Directors Garbarino, Giudice, Cochran, Rodoni, and Grosboll. Thank you very much.
Thank you. After our discussion, we'll ask for any public comment before moving on. Please follow along by referring to the page numbers located on the bottom right-hand corner of your meeting packet. Madam Secretary, please introduce the first item.
Thank you. We're going to start with agenda item number 3, and that's an informational report regarding the district's advisory committees. That report is monstrous. It starts at page 3 and it goes to page 222. If you have a paper packet in front of you, we actually lopped off all the paper versions. And so there's no attachments to the agendas, but if you would like a copy of everything that's attached to the agenda is online on our website. So I saved everybody from getting 200 pages. But we have staff here available to answer any questions. Dennis, would you have anything to add?
I have nothing to add. Staff's available to answer any questions.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from directors on item 3? Well, I guess that concludes discussion on this item. Madam Secretary, is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on item 3?
We have no speaker cards today in the room, and I just confirmed with Justine that there's no speaker online for item number 3.
Okay. Thank you. No action is required for item number 3. We will move on to onto agenda item number 4, which is to approve updates to the agency safety plan for Golden Gate Transit. The staff report begins on page 223, and we have Keith Nunn here to present his report. Keith, go ahead and begin.
Good morning, Chair Hill and committee members. Item 4 before you is to approve updates to the Agency Safety Plan for Golden Gate Transit. The Agency Safety Plan, or ASP, was board adopted back in October of 2020 in response to the Federal Transit Administration's Public Transportation Agency Safety Plan, or PTAS rule. Structured around the concept of Safety Management Systems, SMS. SMS is a comprehensive collaborative approach to managing safety in the workplace. Major goal is to bring everyone together at all levels of the organization to control safety, risk, detect and correct safety problems, share and analyze safety data, and measure safety performance. The 4 components of SMS are safety management policy, safety risk management, safety assurance, and safety promotion. As per the FTA, Golden Gate Transit is required to annually review the ASP and bring any significant changes to the board for approval. The changes being presented to the committee today are updates to reflect changes in the district and its operational needs. The following updates have been made to the agency safety plan. Number Number one, due to personnel changes, the SMS executive role and responsibility in the ASP have been reassigned from the Deputy General Manager of the Bus Division to the Director of Fleet and Facilities of the Bus Division. Number two is to reflect changes in operating service for Marin Transit based on recent service reconfiguration. And what that is it was decreased by one local fixed route. Number three, with the installation of fire extinguishers on all the coaches, the pre-trip inspection training has been revised to include proper use of fire extinguishers. And number four is referencing our workforce investment network partnership in the ASP. It is a partnership between Golden Gate Transit and the ATU Local 1575 with guidance from the High Roads Training Partnership and the California Transit Works. This oversees the mentor, apprenticeship, and pre-apprenticeship programs. It promotes the professional development of Golden Gate Transit bus operators through development of professional standards and training. And then finally, number five has been updated to clarify the San Rafael, Novato, and Santa Rosa diesel fuel tank capacities. The Safety Committee has reviewed and approved these updates to the Agency Safety Plan at its October 11, 2023 meeting, and there is no fiscal impact at this time. In closing, when the board adopted the initial ASP back in October of 2020, this gave the general manager, accountable executive, the authority to designate roles in the Golden Gate Transit Agency Safety Plan. Staff is respectfully requesting approval of updates to the Agency Safety Plan. And at this time, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Keith, for that presentation. Are there any questions or comments from the directors on item number 4? Director Terrio.
I want to thank staff again for providing us a red line. Always good to have those, and I'm glad we now know how much diesel is in our tanks.
Thank you. Yes, Director Hernandez.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman. I noted in the report that the Safety Committee reviewed all of this material and gave their thumbs up. And I'm wondering who makes up the Safety Committee and were the bargaining units involved in opining? Thank you.
Yes, the Safety Committee is comprised of representatives from each of the unions in the bus division and management. There's equal shares so that there's an equal, when they vote, there's equal accountability.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Mr. Maston. Director Maston.
Yes. First of all, kudos on the report. It's quite extensive and a lot of work went into it. On page 231 and 269, Sonoma County Airport Express is now Gruen Transportation. So you might want to change that. And is Keith our current director of fleet and facilities?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Grosbold. All right. That concludes discussion on this item. Before we take our vote, Madam Secretary, is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on item number 4?
We have no speakers on this item in the room, and we also have no speakers on this item online.
All right. Thank you. I will now entertain a motion on item number 4 to approve updates to the agency safety plan for Golden Gate Transit.
So second.
May I have a second? I guess I got the second. Thank you, Holly. Thank you, Madam Secretary. Please do call the roll.
Thank you. We're voting on item number 4 with a roll call vote, starting with Director Conroy, who's absent, Director Dorsey is absent, Director Engardio is absent, Garbarino. Aye. Giudice?
Aye.
Grosbold? Hernandez?
Aye.
Maston? Aye. Moulton Peters is absent, Parr is absent, Rabbit? Rodoni?
Aye.
Safai is absent, Snyder is absent, Stephanie is absent, Thier?
Aye.
Second Vice President Hill?
Here. Yes. Yes.
First Vice President Cochran? And President Cherio? Thank you. You have 11 ayes.
Okay. Thank you. The motion passes. We'll move on to agenda number 5, which is a monthly report on bridge traffic, transit ridership trends, and transit service performance. The staff report begins on page 341. Wow. And Dennis will present this report. Thank you, Dennis. Go ahead.
Thanks. Travel trends continue as they have been for many months in the quarter. We're seeing very, very slow but steady growth in bridge, bus, and ferry ridership, but we're still significantly below pre-pandemic levels, primarily with commute travel. Bridge traffic is down almost 15% during the morning commute, and bus and ferry service is much down, but it is slowly growing back, and we have seen a marked uptick in recreational travel. I'll talk more about that tomorrow under the general manager's report so the whole board can hear it. But with that, I'm available to answer any questions you might have.
Are there any questions or comments from directors on item number 5? Dick?
So it's our ferry manager just sent me a little graph because we've been chatting about it a lot. Larkspur Ferry is kind of the best harbinger of traffic in the corridor, travel in the corridor between the North Bay and South Bay. So Tuesdays are biggest day. Wednesdays and Thursdays are just a tiny bit smaller than Tuesdays, but they're really robust. Monday is significantly less, but Friday's about half of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So at some point we may want to have a Monday, Friday schedule, and then a separate Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday schedule, maximizing the use of staff availability and staff resources. But Fridays, it was always down before the pandemic, but it's more noticeable now. I'll let your colleagues respond.
Director Abbott.
Yeah, I was smiling as Dennis was saying traffic was down because here I am late because of traffic seemingly from North Marin, that section down into San Rafael. And I believe that we had done one of these somewhere along the way, whether it was MTC or here, kind of really a commute analysis. I mean, the 101 corridor has seemingly shifted over the years, that more people are commuting along the freeway to other communities in the North Bay, not quite coming over the bridge as much. Any update about any analysis in the future? And I know that things are still changing and not settled yet.
We're doing a detailed survey of customers and non-customers for travel in the corridor. But just what we have noticed even before the pandemic was that Marin is an aging affluent suburb, so there were fewer people going into San Francisco. Hybrid work had already started in the North Bay. And what we've noticed is over time, people that could afford a home 30 or 40 years ago in Marin have retired. So the North Bay imports its service workers today. And so we see that actually reverse commute on some of our regional bus routes leaving San Francisco, and you clearly see that on the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge traffic coming into Marin. A school teacher, a mechanic generally doesn't live in Marin County anymore. And during the pandemic and after the pandemic, we're seeing a lot more local traffic. When school's back in the North Bay. And then a lot of people are out and about midday, but there's not people going to San Francisco in significant numbers yet. On a typical weekday, there's 150,000 fewer people in San Francisco than there were pre-pandemic. And so that affects all the transit operators that service downtown San Francisco, such as BART, Caltrain, and us, and Muni on their downtown lines. But people are out and about. They're traveling between neighborhoods in San Francisco and in the North Bay. And so Highway 101 is a mess, but they're not going into San Francisco. And so it's kind of interesting, and there's been changes in where people live and work. For our crafts at the bridge, we offer van pools so they can get to work. And it's vital because we need workers. And so we have, painters and iron workers that live far away. So we have van pools that come from Pittsburgh, Bay Point, Suisun City, Vacaville that gets our workers here. And it makes it easier for them to come here. It makes our jobs more desirable, but it gives you a sense of where our employees live. Years ago, we had a lot of bus operators that lived in Marin, but those folks have all retired. And the bus operators we hire today do not live in Marin, and oftentimes they don't live in Sonoma County even, but they live in the East Bay. And so those trends will continue, but something will happen with downtown San Francisco. There's too much valuable real estate there, and it's going through some little speed bumps. But when it comes out the other side, we'll see what the new travel patterns are, but we're not there yet. The whole hybrid work, releasing office space has to play itself out, and that will take a couple of years.
A lot of within San Francisco is active transportation, which is growing quite readily. That concludes. Anyone else? That concludes this discussion on this item. Madam Secretary, is there anyone from the public wishing to speak?
We have no speakers for item number 5, and we have no speakers online.
Okay. Thank you. No action is required on this informational report. We will move on to item number 6 for a monthly report on activities related to Marin Transit. Dennis, do you have anything to report?
I have nothing to report. All is well.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any Marin directors interested in commenting? Seeing none. Yeah, that concludes the discussion on this item, and there's no action required for item number 6. Madam Secretary, is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on item 6 or address this committee under item number 7, which is
We have no public comment for 6 or 7 online or in the room.
right? Well, I guess that about calls it. Thank you. We have reached the end of this agenda. May I have a motion to adjourn this meeting? Sabrina? May I? Jim, second. Hearing no objections, this concludes the meeting of the Transportation Committee. Thank you, colleagues. The time is 9:19 a.m.